let's see who's on and give everybody a couple of minutes to jump on. And then we will get started. Okay, let's see. I can get this to go. Okay. There we go. No? Okay. Hang on. There we go. Let's go here and see if this will show me my chat. Oops. Let's turn that off so we don't have to listen to the background noise. Live chat has not come up. Let's see if we can make this go. All right, come on. You never know what the trick is. Each time it's different. And for some reason, it just decides when it wants to do it. Okay, let's go here, here, and oh, come on, work for me. Work, work, work. Please work. Oh, there we go. Hello, Laura. Seriously, I just don't understand how the chat thing works and why it doesn't just automatically come up for me, but it's okay. We're there. Switch it over to live chat so I make sure I get to see everyone. Hello, Tracy. Okay, good deal. So as a reminder, we have our designer series paper sale going this month. There are select designer series papers on sale within the 2024-2025 annual Stampin' Up! Catalog. And so you'll want to take advantage of that if you're in need of some designer series paper, okay? And don't forget that this is August, so this is the month where you redeem your bonus days coupons that you earned in July. Those need to be turned in no later than August 31st. Stampin' Up, however, is asking us to try and have those used by August 30th, if at all possible. Okay, so we're going to be using the Changing Leaves bundle again. Now, I did notice after my live on Facebook on Tuesday night that the Changing Leaves hybrid embossing folder, which includes the embossing folder and the dies, is currently on back order until September 2nd. That is the expected date for it to come back in. And I thought about switching things up a bit, but then I went, nope, everything's good. We're just going to go with it and put it on your wish list. And then you can come back and watch this video as a refresher if you'd like. Okay, so we're going to do a fun fold today. And we're going to be using both the stamps and the hybrid embossing folder along with the dies as it was intended. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this aside. In addition to that, we are using the Countryside corner dies. It's a set of 7 dies. These are in the annual catalog, or you'll find them in the online store. Okay. So we've got those. Oh, and we're using actually the second to the largest and the third to the largest. I've cut this one here in Misty Moonlight and this one in Petal Pink. Okay, So just so you know, let's go ahead and grab our little supplies here. And we're going to start with a card base that is 5.5 by 7 1/8, and I've scored it at 4 1/4. Now, you can do this where you cut your cardstock 5.5 by 8.5, and then you're going to cut 1 3/8 inch off of this end and score it at 4 1/4. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that scored or burnished with our bone folder, so we have a nice crisp score. And to this, we're going to add some designer series paper. Now I've pulled paper from the Country Woods designer series paper. I've got a couple of packs of this designer series paper. You get 2 sheets each of 6 double-sided designs. I'm just going to do a quick flip in here. You can see I've got some small pieces, and of course it doesn't want to flip. Okay, these are not in any particular order. Okay, so those are the patterns. I really like this paper, and it is included in the designer series paper sale. Okay, so that's going to be stubborn and not go down in there. Hang on one second. There we go. So I've pulled this pattern, and what I have done is I have taken a piece that is 4 3/8 by 5 3/8, and I've cut that at 2 7/8 so that I have 2 pieces. Okay, this piece, the 2 7/8 inch piece, which doesn't appear to be cut properly. Hang on. It seems to be a little bit on the wide side. Oh, yeah, because you want to cut it at 4 1/8, not 4 3/8. This piece needs to be 2 7/8, which it says it is. Did I not cut this one right? Well, I'm going to cut this down another. Hang on, we're going to punt. My card's not going to look exactly the way I want it to, though. Okay. Hang on. I'm going to recut my card base because I want this to be the way it needs to be. 1 3/8. If I cut 1 3/8 inch off of this 5 1/4. Okay, and hopefully this works the way it's supposed to. And then I score it at 4 1/4. Okay, that should leave me with the piece for this. This is not working. I don't know why. But I'm just gonna fix it. It's fine. Oh, because this is 2 7/8 instead of 3. All right, it's okay. All right, so let's go down to 2 3/4. It'll all be fine. It won't be as perfect as I like, but it's okay. I should have written everything down when I very first did it. And then I wouldn't have these issues. Okay, so 2 3/4 by 5 3/8. Sorry about that. When I designed these measurements, I should have written them down. And then I was trying to measure while watching kids that were yelling at me and demanding attention, and it just wasn't working out good. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Now this is going to go in here. And that's what I want for this one. So this piece is 1.5 by 5 3/8. I'm just going to center that up in here, like so, making sure that these match up. Okay, so I've got that. Now let's go ahead and we can set this aside. And let's get started on our focal images. Okay, so we have, like I said, that second to the largest countryside corners cut in Misty Moonlight. The next smallest from this one cut in Petal Pink. And we are going to put just a little bit of sprinkling on here. So what I did with that is I took some Petal Pink ink. I'm just going to take a drop and drop this right here on my glass mat of the Petal Pink. And then I'm going to take my Wink of Stella and I'm going to try to drop just one drop of Wink of Stella. I'm going to kind of mix that together. Okay. And then I'm just going to tap it on the lid just to put a little sprinkle and sparkle and hopefully a little bit of color in there. There we go. Okay, and I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to take a baby wipe. I'm just going to clean off the tip there just to get that Petal Pink off of my brush tip. And it'll stain, that's fine. As long as it's running clear, we're good. Okay, no color there, so we're good. Put that away. And then I'm just going to wipe this down and get all of that off. And take that away. All right. So we've got that. And then just give that a quick little dry. Not sure where my smaller one went. Okay, now I can attach these two pieces together. Just like that. And I'm going to set this aside. All right. Now we're going to bring in some paper for stamping. Got a piece of scrap here. And I've got a piece of scrap for a sentiment. Now you'll need a little bit more basic white than this, but I've already pre-done my first leaf and one of my other leaves, but I'm going to show you how I stamped this. This is just stamped in pecan pie, and then I took my blending brush and very lightly went over it with some pecan pie ink. And then I die cut and ran it through the embossing folder. And I'm going to show you how I did that, but we're going to do that on the more colorful piece that I wanted to show you how I did. So I'm going to bring in this stamp from the Changing Leaf stamp set, and we're going to start with Petal Pink. And we're going to take a sponge dauber, and Petal Pink ink. And I'm just going to tap this on with my dauber. Okay. And then we're going to move to Summer Splash. And I have another dauber for that. Okay, and I want to mix those colors. And then we're going to come in with Misty Moonlight. Okay, and if you're worried about your colors mixing on your daubers, when you're done with your dauber, just dab it on a baby wipe, and I'll show you that here in a minute because we're going to take our pecan pie. I'm going to take that dauber and I'm going to daub that down here, and then I'm going to daub a little bit here and here and here. Okay, now that will end up with different colors on your wipe. So what I do is I just take my baby wipe, and you can see how I'm getting that green and blue off of there. And just keep doing that until you're back to the brown. Okay, and then that's all good. And then we're going to take this and huff on it to reactivate the ink. And then I'm going to stamp this down. Okay, now while you're doing this and your stamp is nice and dirty, you're actually going to just wipe this off again and then do that same thing. Do your envelope, stamp your envelope, and then take your inside piece, which is going to be 2 3/4 by 5 3/4, and stamp this in the middle of that piece. And what you'll end up with is an envelope that looks like this. And the inside piece will have a very light inking right here where you can put your sentiment over the top. Okay, so if you do that while you have all of this out, then you will be in great shape. You won't have to go back and do it later. Okay, so with this now, 1 minute, we're going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment. We're going to do that in Misty Moonlight, and I'm going to take the thank you from Changing Leaves, and I'm just going to stamp this down right here on this scrap piece. So we're going to die cut that. So let's get all the die cutting done at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to trim this out. Like this. And then I'm going to bring in the, well, let's get it together first before I bring all that in. So I'm going to bring in my base plate and plate number 4. Those are the 2 plates we're going to need for this first part. And then we're going to take our dies and our embossing folder, and we're going to take this big large die. This will cut 3 images at the same time. However, your stamps are separate, so that's a little challenging. So what we're going to do is we're going to do just this one, and I did this brown one the same way, just so the pecan pie one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my embossing folder with the emblem, the Stampin' Up logo here. I'm going to put that down flat. I'm going to put the cutting side up on my die. I'm just going to wiggle this right into place. And you'll feel it lock in, okay? And then I'm going to take this piece And I'm going to put it about where I think it should go. And while I hold this die in place, I'm going to wiggle that in, keep holding it, close it up. Going to put that down. Then I'm going to put my top plate number 4. And then I'm going to bring in the big boss here. I'm going to roll that through. And that's going to cut and emboss all at the same time. Okay. So now when I take this out, I've cut it and it's all embossed. Okay. And I can take that and throw it away. And I would do my large pecan pie leaf at the same time. And I actually need 2 of these, which I've already done. Okay. I did that so I didn't have to keep running it through the die cut machine. So we've got these pieces now. And let's bring in our other one right here. Okay, so we've got that. And now we're going to bring back our card base and our countryside corner pieces. And I'm going to put this right here on my, it is the same size, isn't it? Please tell me I didn't, no, I cut the right one. Just wasn't looking quite right. Okay, so we're going to do this, and then I'm going to put another one down here. I'm going to cut this off. I don't want this stem to be quite so long. So I'm just going to come in here, and I'm going to shorten that up just by giving it a little bit of a rounded bottom. And I'm going to do the same thing on this one because I don't want those stems that long. So we've got that. Let's not get rid of our scissors. I'm going to put this in here. And then I want a couple of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these apart. Just going to take my scissors in here. I'm going to cut that. I'm going to cut that. And then I'm going to cut this. Okay. These aren't going to really show, so it doesn't really matter what the bottoms look like so much. Okay. So now let's go ahead and we're going to add this one down, and I'm going to do that with a little bit of liquid glue, and I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue along the stem and at the very ends of those leaves. Okay, I'm going to add this to my card like so. I'm not going to press it too hard because I want to go back in and add some things. I'm going to do the same thing with this one, just the center part. I want the top of the leaves loose. I'm going to put this in here like so. And then I'm going to go back with these pieces here. I'm going to tuck one here and tuck one here a little bit lower, like so. And when I'm happy with the placement, because I've used the liquid glue, I've got a little bit of wiggle room here. When I'm happy with that, then I'll just give it a press. Okay. And now I've got this leaf to put away for another time. All right. Let's set this aside for just a minute more. So I forgot to do this, but we're going to use the mini on this because it's easier. So I'm going to bring that in, and I'm going to get from the dies. I'm taking this label piece, and I'm going to put this on here and take a piece of maybe the mint tape. I like the mint tape better. It doesn't leave the residue. Okay, so let's put this in, line that up so it looks like it's straight, and then we'll put a little bit of tape on there. We'll bring the mini in. And we've got plates 1 and 2. I'm going to put my die in so that the end here is facing toward the machine. Then I'm going to put my top plate over it partially so that I'm not covering the whole thing. So I want to alter the size of this die. It's just not quite the size I need it to be. There is a smaller one of these in the die set. This right here, but it's not big enough for the thank you. It's only big enough for the sentiment that says, I'm here for you. So now I'm going to remove my tape, and I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to pull it in, and I'm going to set it right back into that groove, and then put my tape back down, my top back on. I don't need to cut all the way. I only need to cut what I hadn't previously cut. And then we're going to run that back through. And when we pull it out this time, we will have a shortened sentiment. Okay, so let's get this machine out of the way. And put that back on the magnet sheet. Okay, now I've got just a little bit of the mint tape stuck here, so I'm just going to take this and lift that off because I don't want that mint tape stuck on there. All right. So now we have all of our pieces. Let's go ahead and finish up this card. Okay. So we're going to take, and I designed this card so that it would fit and have equal space by putting this corner tip and this corner tip right along this cut line. And then it would have equal space on the left and the right. Okay, that makes it easy for me to put the adhesive on because I know that when I flip this over, I can't put in any adhesive past this corner or this corner. So I'm just going to take some liquid glue. Making sure I don't go past that corner. And then I can put this down, center it up with those points right on the edge. Okay. And there we are. Oh, I think I need to move that down. Well, it's where it's at. It's going to stay. Okay, so we've got that. Now let's go ahead and take our thank you. We're going to put that right here. And this card is already pretty thick with all the card layers, so I'm not using dimensionals. I'm just going to take some Stampin' Seal and put this down right here. I'm going to put that right in there. I want to make sure that leaf doesn't cover, but yet it doesn't cover the sentiment, but falls on that. Okay, and then I can give that a press. And that's all down. And finally then, well, not finally, because we still have to put our embellishments on. I've taken a piece of the Natural Tones linen thread. This is coming in the mini catalog, which will release to customers on September 4th. It's got garden green, copper clay, and Night of Navy. I'm going to use the Night of Navy. And this, I think they're thinking is going to be so popular, they only allowed us to order one during pre-order. So, okay, so then I'm just going to put that right there. Now let's add our embellishments. And of course, after I designed this and I looked at the inventory sheet tonight, these two, the adhesive back texture dots, are also on back order till September 2nd. But we're going to use them anyway because they're perfect for my card. And I have them. So I'm just going to put one up there, one over here. Those are the small ones, and then I'm going to put a large one down here. Okay. And I like to take and put the tip back on my putty end and press those in so that they are good and stuck. Now let's add our inside piece. Okay. And this, now you don't necessarily need an inside piece here. Yep, that's too wide. I need to cut this to 2 3/4. I think it's at 2 7/8. No, it's at 2 3/4. Okay, let's cut it to 2 5/8. It'll be all right. I just need it to fit. I'm going to turn it around and do it this way. 2 5/8 by 5 3/8 is my inside piece size. Oh, come on. Cooperate with me here. Okay. Trying to put that away. It wasn't wanting to listen. Okay. So then I can take this and slide it up right next to my designer series paper. And that will all be okay. Okay. All right, and then the envelope, and that is our fun fold card with the Changing Leaves hybrid bundle for today. Okay, I hope you liked that. And I never saw any, I hope, no comments. I'm going to refresh this to see if I miss. Oh, very nice. Thank you, Tracy. Yep, I hope you like that technique. I did try inking these with the baby wipe technique, but I didn't like the way they turned out. So I decided to do it with the sponge daubers, and I was much happier. Let's see if I can show you the difference. Yeah. Here is the baby wipe technique. And if you're unfamiliar with the baby wipe technique, you just take a baby wipe and put puddles of ink on a baby wipe, and then you use this as your ink pad. So when I did this, These were what I got, because what you do is you take and put your stamp in here. But it was so light, and I didn't, the color just wasn't standing out for me. And I was much happier with the sponge daubers. Okay. All right. So that is my card for you tonight. Now, Tuesday night, when I would normally be on Facebook Live, at this point, I'm not planning on going live. Keep your eye out in case I pop in. But I am planning to be gone with the kiddos. Suzanne's on vacation, so we have some plans to go to the beach, and I don't know what time I'll be home. So anyway, until next Thursday night, I hope everybody has a great week, and thank you very much for joining me. Good night.